Here we go. All right, y'all. Strap in. I'm back with the next installment in The Invisibles by Grant Morrison. I just gets deeper every time, guys. This is a tough one to talk about. It really resonates with me, the story. I think The Invisibles is essentially I think what Grant Morrison has created here is a kind of he's created a book, a story about waking up from default reality and a story about what's beyond that and a story about the depths of consciousness. In this book in particular, one way he explores that is through indigenous spiritual practices. Um, for instance, the story opens up, we get backstory on Lord Fanny. She's one of the main characters. And in that backstory, she's from Brazil, and there's a story that involves brujeria, which is like magic in Spanish. You could look into it, but it is a practice and a system that predates Christian colonization. The beings that Lord Fanny encounters in what's essentially a spiritual initiation are honestly terrifying. The embodiment of forces beyond our control, for sure. The Lord of Death, she stands there with death, and it's like her experience is incredibly psychedelic, and she awakens a self or a level of self that is outside of time. Awesome. Again, very psychedelic. She's told that now it is always the moment of her initiation. She has this sequence where she's going through different moments, jumping into different moments of her life, and she's told it's always right now. She's like, I feel like I'm dying, and they're like, you already died. And you're always a kid. You're always this moment. You're always that moment. You're always that moment. The story moves on. There's also the thread through the story, through the comic, is there's something going on in the present day, but time gets really porous in these stories. Um, but the next kind of big moment in this book for me involved King Mob getting. It's not even clear if you're getting his backstory or what, but you kind of get a peek into what King Mob is and who King Mob is, and because he gets shot, he gets captured, and he's being interrogated, and they're trying to get into his mind. These the powers that be, essentially. Um, they are, and in fact, they're consorting with what's called an archon, and that's this horrific looking demon monster thing. But anyway, they're the powers that be. They're the G-men. They're the men in suits, that type of thing. And they're trying to break into his mind, and he is sort of there's sort of this psychic struggle going on, and he's presenting. His mind is coming up with all of these different versions of himself to try and throw them off. There's a Kirk Morrison who's a writer who he doesn't know what's going on. He's innocent because he's just a writer. He writes horror. There's the fictional character that he supposedly created and writes stories about, who's called Gideon Stargrave, and he's this sexy action hero whose stories keep getting thrown up to kind of try and confuse the interrogators. This is all happening in the mind. Um, and so as you get further and further into this part of the story, it gets revealed that this this writer Kirk Morrison is a pseudonym that a guy writes under, and that guy's name is Gideon Starzewski, and he writes a character called Gideon Stargrave, or has created this character called Gideon Stargrave, and all of them are King Mob, and King Mob is in a deeper sense in reality, he is a dreaming scorpion. There's a great panel with this scorpion flying through space. Actually, it's a group of scorpions, but they're flying through the cosmos, and it's a reference to the zodiac, and that as Ram Dass once said, you look around, you realize there's only 12 of us. So you sort of get all of these layers peeled back, and for me, that moment in the story really resonated with me because I've been looking more into the zodiac and trying to understand that a little bit more, and what my place might be in it, or how it might speak to me in my experience and my sense of self. So yeah, the dreaming scorpion, awesome sequence. There's so much more going on in here. Jack Frost, Dane, aka Jack Frost, he has an alien experience. They implant a purple pineal gland into his third eye. Very cool. Of course, there's action, adventure, and all that kind of stuff. But um, oh, and also there's backstory on Boy. There's another great Afro-Caribbean character and wonderful like interaction with those deities and with that school of spirituality. There's a guy. He's called Papa Getty, and he's well, this character, one of the Invisibles, allows himself to be possessed essentially by these different spirits or deities, and that's, from my understanding, a pretty traditional way to practice spirituality and magic in Spanish-speaking countries, like in South America. So that's not unique to this story. It's again something Grant Morrison is bringing into the story. But anyway, so this character gets possessed by Papa Getty. I don't exactly know how to say that. Guedhe, who is the brother of Papa Legba, and Papa Legba is like the one who Papa Legba has a role in that spirituality, and Papa Getty, who I was not familiar with, has sort of a counterpart role. He is again, he's sort of a deity that has to do with death. They say he was the first man to be killed, first man to die, and so he sort of helps people cross over into death. What he's doing in the story is kicking ass and helping out the main characters, and I thought that was really cool too. I have a connection to Papa Legba, and so to hear him mentioned and to be made aware of this other uh, being, it's really cool. So yeah, like I said, I think Grant Morrison is offering energy towards breaking out of default reality and um, exploring consciousness, exploring being, and I think that he is offering breadcrumbs of a kind, or just doors to open, because there are names and beings and ideas and practices that concern consciousness that are not discussed in Western culture, in capitalistic society. So I think Grant Morrison's sort of like, hey, here's some doors you could open. Here's some things you could look into. Here's some names. Here's some ideas. Um, Even with the cover here, there's a six-pointed star on the cover. It's inside of a lotus flower. There is Sanskrit circling that. That's a few symbols right there a person could look into and probably have things opened up for them. Okay, so jumping off of this, there's something I'm really excited about that I want to invite you guys to, that I'm working on creating, a reading group. So It's going to be on Discord. Um, it's based on some experiences I've had in online reading groups. I tried to take what I learned there and make something that would be fun, but also makes sense and also kind of keeps anyone from getting spoilers or anything like that, and also keeps anyone from being you have to be involved, every month, or you have to be involved all month long. It's not like that at all. It's really easy breezy, come and go, engage with wherever you're at in the book, engage even if you're not reading the book with us. It's just a space for readers, for my reader friends, and a space to share reading some things together. Okay, so it's on Discord. It's called The Dreaming Scorpion. I was so deeply touched, inspired by what happened in this book, The Invisibles, that I named the book club The Dreaming Scorpion. And I invite all of you cosmic dreamers to come and share, and be in community together. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Come when you want, go when you want, easy peasy. Um, if you're on Discord, I think you might be able to search for the Dreaming Scorpion reading group. If not, just please DM me or comment, and I'll send you the link, and you can join us. If you don't know what Discord is, it's basically just an online, a place you can curate online spaces, and it's not like just anyone's going to stumble into this space. We're all invited. We're all here on purpose for the same purpose, type of deal. Okay, so that's the reading group announcement. I'm really excited. I'd love to see you there. It's again, it's no pressure. It's easy to come and go, but please come check it out. This means a lot to me to get to share and think and have a reason to think more deeply and read more deeply. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.